They do.
It wasn't on.
Lights on.
No, they're niche, but I'm telling you.
So you told him how
I told Dan the same thing.
I discovered you on the
I
internet?
told him about Napster, yeah.
No, but I'm
Yeah?
About how
I
we
guess,
saturated Napster.
Well, you and your brother very brilliantly forged your way into my world. Yes.
Yeah. We had so much hate now.
I downloaded what I thought was a rare live bootleg of Zeppelin, and it turned out to be Mark Cole's old band
They
with his
start the
brother in
West
New
Coast,
Orleans.
you know,
And
obviously, traveling far.
I think
You
the
just
tagline always
heard
said,
guitar
Dan the
playing?
same thing, but
well, I downloaded a whole cover, which I thought I was downloading a bootleg of Zeppelin, I believe.
Yeah, probably.
And it said sampleaccurate.com at the end of the long title of the file. And I'm like, all right, I know this is not Zeppelin. I can kind of hear the difference, but it sounds good.
I saw him in two.
What the fuck is sampleaccurate.com?
I saw him in,
So I looked up the
San
website,
Paulo.
and I
I saw
found
him
him and his
there.
brother and the singer, and they had a three-piece band in New Orleans playing to like fucking bowling alley or something.
Yeah, no, I wish.
That would have been a good thing, right?
Every stage we had it was rotted, like you'd sink into it.
What I remember is there was like tinsel hanging behind it
Yeah,
or
that
something.
was a place called Impressions.
And you had glasses,
Yeah.
like Coke bottle
Big
glasses.
Coke bottle glasses.
Anyway, I reached out and like, okay, hey, so I found you guys. I have a band in Vegas. I'm looking to make some changes. How would you like to consider moving out here? And well, the rest is history.
Rest is
And
history.
Here he is, 25,000 years later.
Yeah, that's what I was telling him. It's like,
Did he have
Well,
long hair back
he's
then?
been in Yellow Brick Road longer than I've been in Yellow Brick Road. Might have mentioned that earlier,
Probably.
but I was
How
in
is
Yellow
that?
Brick Roads from 1997 to
But you hired him.
2011.
But-
Well, yes, I did hire him, but then I left the band.
Oh, but then you left it. Okay,
And
so
then
he got more years. Then.
Who knew that we would continue this many years later? So
Not
he's been in the
me.
band, what, 2000? 2000,
I
you
think I
joined.
was, yeah, 2000.
So
And
that's
then I
25
left-
years. I've been in the band 14 years. You've been in the band 25 years.
I left for 3
Well, you
years.
did leave for a brief
I
period,
think it was
yes.
3
You
years.
did.
Yes.
I had a kid, and then there were some real serious complications with his birth, and I had like bills that were like a mountain. So
Okay.
and
So
I got
was it-
married, had a kid, and had that, and it's like I've got to
It's an economic
get a
thing.
real responsible job with benefits for a while. Yeah. So I was
Yeah,
doing
we were-
both for a while, and then it just became too much.
We were
So-
talking about the corporate versus the artist. Okay, I was
Okay.
a teacher for 25 years, so and I'm a musician. I was in Love Shack. I was the lead singer in Love Shack.
You were in Love Shack?
Yeah, I was a Devo guy. Long time ago.
Oh, I rember Matt being
Matt
the
was
guy.
Matt was the
Okay.
guy.
I didn't
Then
know
I
that, sorry.
auditioned and I got the job.
Oh,
And I
okay.
was the
Sorry
lead
about
singer
that.
for. No,
Yeah.
I'm not Matt.
Well, as we all know, there are changes in bands often.
So what we were talking about was corporate versus artist. Like I was a teacher for 25 years, and do I get off of that road and go with the artist thing? You know, so I stayed on the 25-year path because it was my bread and butter as a teacher, and then I was doing the artist thing on the side. So he was like doing the same thing in New Orleans, and then got the call, and then got off the road
decided,
and
yeah.
became a musician
Take a chance.
for his career. I was a little bit shy on that. What about you? Did you?
I was
were
a
you-
car guy up until 1997. I was destined to be on a path of being an automotive guy, car builder, racer, painter, customize cars. And that was my whole path up until I moved to Las Vegas, which at the time I was living in my car, and drove to Vegas to move in with my dad. Took some odd jobs, bounced around, lived on couches, rented
Didn't
rooms
know you
from
were a
people.
singer. Did you identify
I was always
yourself as a singer?
but a singer as far as, the high school talent show and a couple of bands here and there, but not professionally until about 1997 when I strolled into the brand new New York casino
Okay.
and found my way into the middle and heard this music coming from
The piano bar.
bar at Times Square, the dueling piano bar.
Yep, I remember.
Wandered in and stuck around and watched for a bit. I'm like, this is pretty interesting. And I approached one guy, a piano player, when he went on break. Said, I can play and sing. How does a guy go about getting a gig like this? And he kind of blew me off, frankly. And being stubborn and persistent like I usually am, I waited till the next guy switched shifts and asked the same question. And the guy says, we're always looking for players. And I can set up an audition for you right now. And I'm like, holy shit. And I went to
No
this guy's
kidding.
house. I sat down and I played Elton John's Rocket Man, and he goes, "You're hired. Here's
You
a
played
book
it
of
in New York?
songs, learn all these songs, and I'll get you a gig." And about 2 weeks later, he called me with a gig in Billings, Montana. And lo and behold, my dad, who was from North Dakota, was driving up to North Dakota, going through Billings. And I go, "Dad, I need a ride to Billings, Montana." And he says, "Okay, hop in." Threw my keyboard in the trunk, and he dropped me off in Billings, Montana. And I learned this gig on the spot at this little bar. And I played piano and learned songs every night until I had a roster of songs. And
Wow.
then I met a guy who was in a band there, a classic rock band named Scott Swalinski. And he invited me out to go jam with his band. And his singer got sick. I ended up singing the whole last set. And we became friends. And when I came back to Vegas, I did a little bit of dueling piano bar stuff. And the Elton John thing was kind of my favorite thing to play.
Okay.
And I saw some bands around Vegas doing what they call a tribute. So I saw Dave St. John's band, which was a Beatles cover band, and I saw another group doing an Eagles cover band. And I said, well, I'll do an Elton John cover
But
band.
there weren't many back then, right?
Like two.
Yeah, there weren't many.
And I
Now
said,
there's a
I
lot.
will forge my way, and I will do an Elton John thing. And it took a while to get it.
Did you dress up and all that, or?
Initially, I threw on a little glasses and a little makeshift thing, but I looked nothing like Elton John. I looked like a skinny Elton John, like a heroin-induced Elton John, which there
But you
was an
sounded
actual
like-
Elton John. But I
sounded
could kind of cop his voice and playing style, and so I put together a band with Scott, the drummer that I met in Billings, and some other guys, and we formed this band, Yellow Brick Road. And the Yellow Brick Road name is because of Goodbye Yellow Brick Road.
Oh
And
my gosh!
in the
I
early
never knew
days,
that.
the first couple of gigs we got were in casinos were like, you have to play 4 one-hour sets until 2 a.m. And we're like, we don't have enough Elton John songs to do this, so let's throw in some Steely Dan and some Kansas and some Styx and like related, similar classic rock era stuff. And the long story short is before too long, people started showing up to see that music. And eventually the Elton John thing kind of got pushed by the wayside, and we started throwing in Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin and Boston and Journey, and
And
like
they just kept
kind of got
going
heavier and
going.
heavier into classic rock, and here we are.
Were you that good on piano that you got that gig?
Well, I don't know if I was good, but in the early days, I was terrified to get up in front a band. I would not actually stand up and like be in front of the mic.
Yeah.
I was hiding behind a rack of 3 keyboards that I built.
Oh
So
my
I was
God.
I was doing the like Keith Emerson thing and singing, kind of hiding from the audience, honestly. And then I don't know what happened, but one day it kind of came upon me that like I need to get over this and like break away from the keyboards and be a front man. And so I would initially put one foot on my bench and stand up and sing.
like-
And then eventually I hired a keyboardist to take over the role of being the keyboardist, and I said I'm going to force myself to be a front man. And the dueling piano thing
Face your
was,
fears, yeah.
the piano bar thing was honestly a big part of that, because you had to learn to interact with the audience
Yeah,
and
yeah.
kind of win them over. And so I learned a lot from that, and eventually I got the courage to get up and just be myself. And once I learned to just be myself, that was it.
What a story.
Yeah. I
Thanks
mean,
for sharing
It's
that.
kind of a long story, I guess, but
It's
yeah.
a great
Is the
story.
camera actually on now?
It's actually rolling. Yeah.
Okay, great.
SD
great.
card's
Great. Well, that's the whole
I
story.
think it might work.
That's
yeah.
Yellow Brick Road in a nutshell. It's me in a nutshell. Anyway, Mark, could have fooled almost anyone that his playing and replication of these songs was so dead on accurate that even I was like, wait a minute.
It's got to be Jimmy Page.
There was something in the mix of the singer. I'm like, it's not a live bootleg of Zeppelin. It's somebody damn close, though. And anyway, he really won me over, and I guess it was encouraging enough to convince him to come out from Orleans and
Yeah.
move here. And your whole life changed.
It did.
My whole life changed since then.
My kid wouldn't exist if I had come out here.
Literally, I fathered his children with my band. Not my semen.
Yeah, well, I figured if it came off the rails, I was young enough to get back into engineering.
Well,
But it
anyway, it's
never had
crazy.
to.
It's a crazy life story, honestly. Like here we still are, standing here at a station casino where it all kind of began, and And now it's another chapter closing, but another one will begin. And
That's what I was telling him.
literally, as the news came in that this gig was closing, like 4 other dates came in, and they're thankfully our Yellow Brick Road calendar still continues, and well, the bottom line is this music just isn't going anywhere.
Timeless.
It's not going away, and people
timeless.
still want to hear it played well, and there's no better band to play it than Yellow Brick Road.
And we were talking about, these songs that you guys play, Led Zeppelin, Boston, Queen.
Yeah.
These are masterpieces, and you guys get to sing them, and you guys get to play them. They're
Well, let's put it this
masterpieces,
way.
and that's why they live forever, because they're number 1 songs. They're number 2 songs. They've been played on the radio for
I mean,
eons.
I've been fortunate to play with orchestras around the country playing, the great works of the great composers, Mozart, Beethoven, and Mahler. But I would argue that Jimmy Page and Freddie Mercury and the like are deserving of their place in music history and they'll go down as legendary, and their music will probably be timeless. If you put it in a time capsule and sent it out to space, aliens would come back and go, "Where's Yellow Brick Road playing?" So that's my opinion anyway.
Mozart's what, 500,000 years old? I don't know.
500,000, yes.
No, 500 or 1,000 years old. I don't know.
The exact date, do you? My wife would know better than I. She's classically trained violinist, but
All right, let's call it 250.
250 sounds about right.
250? Okay.
Well, anyhow, yeah. Queen, Led Zeppelin, Boston, Journey. Going away anytime soon? I think not.
And your favorite? We were talking about your favorites. Your favorite? I know you get this all the time.
That's
it's
a very, very broad answer because it depends on the time of day. If I'm at home and I'm in the garage, and by the way, I still work on cars, and if I'm listening to music, it's not always the stuff that I would go out and play in a band that I'm in. It's usually stuff that I'm not in a band doing. It's Steely
Same for me.
Dan or 80s pop or
Cool.
Hall & Oates or yacht rock or... Honestly, it's anything but the stuff that I'm playing on my next gig. Because
Right.
I want to save that for the gig.
Yeah.
So I listen to other things
understand that.
to keep my mind in other places.
Yeah, I was saying I was fortunate to be able to make a living all these years playing the stuff that I love and the stuff that got me into it.
Sure.
But currently, that's not what I'm listening to.
And what
Well,
are you?
For
yeah.
the same reasons, because you have to get something different in your brain.
And I
something
still
fresh.
love to
Yeah.
perform this music.
Yeah.
And, Zeppelin is still one of my favorite things to sing and perform in a band in front of an audience because people seem to respond to that well.
Yeah, you sound
But
really
when I'm
good.
at home, I don't listen to Zeppelin.
Yeah.
I don't listen to it. I listen to other things.
And I wouldn't want to perform this different stuff that I'm listening to, really.
Yeah, not necessarily, yeah.
Interesting.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
very diverse stuff.
I don't know if you know Mike Ness, the lead singer from Social Distortion.
I don't know him, no.
Well,
Yeah.
his documentary, he was saying that he doesn't listen to his own music or any punk rock music because he's a car guy. He listens to the engine in his car. He doesn't
There
turn
you
the
go.
radio on,
There you go. Yeah.
I don't know. It's just an artist thing, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I think as soon as you start getting bored with the thing that you're doing, it's time to move on to something else. That was a little bit of the case with me. I had a foot out the door because while I was in Yellow Brick Road, I was doing touring shows with symphony orchestras. So I was already kind of becoming a part-time guy in Yellow Brick Road, and eventually it made sense for me to step out full-time. But
How did that go?
how'd it go? It
Yeah.
went great.
It's got to be a different feel.
I had a
with the-
mutual friend that recommended me for an up-and-coming Queen show that they were doing. There was a company called Lindborn Music that had been doing a Led Zeppelin symphony show around the country successfully since '95, and they were going to embark upon a Queen show, which is brand new in 2009. And a mutual friend put my name in the hat, and I went and auditioned and got the gig. And I guess kind of went from being here in Vegas playing my usual circuit to playing all across the country, which was an exciting thing for a while. And I did that up until COVID, honestly. And then COVID immediately shut down all of our music careers with no end in sight or
So
no
what did
return
you-
in sight. So I went back to being a car guy because I was stuck at home with nothing to do. and I need to be busy doing something, so I turned back to my old hobbies. And I also had a baby during that year, so I've got a 5-year-old girl now that was
Wow,
born during
congratulations.
2020. So it was an interesting time, but things have reemerged and opened back up, and well, what do you know? Classic rock is still alive and well.
Yes, and
If
thanks
not
to
here,
you guys.
another place.
Thanks to you guys.
Oh, well, thanks
Seriously.
to a lot of people, but
I mean,
thanks to people who come out and support it, honestly.
Thanks to the crowd.
We wouldn't
Yeah.
have a job if people didn't come out and
got to give credit to the
spend money
audience.
to pay to come see a band or buy drinks or whatever it is. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's a business, you know. The casino has to make money, and they'll do whatever they have to do to make money. And if this one didn't work
Unfortunately.
out, the next one will,
Yeah, true.
until it doesn't. Yeah.
Well, thank
Anyway.
you.
I'm tired,
Yeah, I am too.
and I'm hungry.
Yeah, I know
Time
somebody
to
wants
go,
eat
huh?
here.
Time to
I
go
think
to
I'll
Burger
hit
King.
that $5.99 breakfast buffet.
Well, let me jump on camera and say goodbye. And
Yes.
all right.
What's your name, by the way?
Tiger Taylor.
Tiger Taylor.
Yeah.
Getting all that hard truth out of these musicians. That's right. I think I've talked more tonight than I have in ages. So,
Well, that's cool.
yeah.
I guess.
Thanks for having me.
Well, likewise.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is for InVegasEntertainment.
Did you get a
Tiger
shot
Talks.
of the broken glass on the dance floor here?
No. Did,
These
was
people,
someone getting
man,
married
just-
or something? Was it a bar mitzvah?
No respect. Just no respect.
No.
There's tinsel and there's condoms and there's
Oh my!
God.
It was a party tonight, folks. You missed it.
Once again at the Yellow Brick Road show.
Wow. Only at a Yellow Brick Road show.
Only.
And where is the Yellow Brick Road going?
Oh, they're still going to be around. Don't you worry. Follow them on Facebook or at ybrband.com and tune in for the next gig. I think it's at Santa Fe Station. And Station Casinos has been very good to us over the years for a long, long time, by the way. So we thank Station Casinos for having us be their final band here at Club Madrid. It's going to be sad to see it go, but
Your
onward
energy
and
is-
upward.
Your energy is still in the ether.
You can still smell it.
Yeah.
You can smell my energy. All right. All right, man.
you.
Good chatting with you.
All right.
Rock on.